So the other day I was wondering exactly where my wedding videography clients come from. How did they hear about me? How did they know that I existed, leading them to then reach out to me? So I dug through my email and crunched the numbers. So today we're gonna analyze those numbers and use my situation as a case study to help all of us grow our businesses and get new clients. Of course, my situation is going to be different than yours. Mine's just one single case study. I might be in a different market than you're in, just have a different style of what I do and have a different target audience than you do. So don't focus so much on the specific numbers, but we just want to see the trends and what we can learn from this. Okay, so these numbers are from May 2017 when I very first started Jordan Nelson Productions, made my first wedding film, up until today, February 20th, 2019, so a little less than 2 years. So I had a grand total of 111 inquiries, and here's the breakdown of where those came from. 8% were weddings that were for family or friends, so they just knew me and reached out to me directly. 22% were from a search engine directly going to my website and reaching out. 24% found me on the not.com, 14% found me on Facebook, and then 32% were from referrals. And of that 32% of referrals, 12% were from client referrals specifically, 35% were from friend or family referrals, and 53% were from photographer and videographer referrals. So I just have a few quick comments before we get into the analysis and what we can learn from those numbers. So the first thing is I haven't done a whole ton of marketing. I haven't been sending out business cards, going to bridal shows. I haven't even made business cards. I haven't been taking out Facebook ads. I really haven't done a ton of outreach in order to get people to hear about my business. I did a little bit more of that on the front end to get people to hear, but after a couple months I was kind of done with that, and I simply just had my online platforms, such as my website, the Knot, Facebook, things like that, and then I just went out and did the work, and then clients came to me. So of course, if you want to grow faster, I think being proactive and doing some outreach is going to probably work for you. Like, that's a great idea. Go do that. Make those business cards, go to those bridal shows, put out Facebook ads, go to where clients are going to be. So it's great to be proactive and make moves, and you can crush the numbers that I'm doing. Also, another quick note about the numbers that you see here, they are definitely not perfect because my tracking was not perfect. From the very beginning, I was not tracking how they had heard about me. It took a few months for me to get that into my contact form. And when they do reach out through Facebook, the Knot, or my website, they don't always say how they heard about me specifically. So I'm not sure if someone referred them to my Facebook page or if they just found me there and then reached out. But regardless, whenever they expressly said that they were referred by family or friends or this specific person or whoever, that's reflected in these numbers. So that's 32%. And I'm very confident that 32% is lowballing it. It's probably closer to 50% or even more. Because I think a lot of times there's the Facebook recommendations even, and there are people saying, hey, I use Jordan Nelson Productions, and they bring them over to my Facebook page, but I never knew that I was referred. So take some of those numbers with a grain of salt. I really do think that the Knot and Facebook and my website are probably overinflated percentages and the referrals are underinflated. And one last note here is at the end of the day, you can get as many inquiries as you want, but if your work is subpar, people are just going to click off your website and go to the next videographer on the list they're looking for their wedding. And really, you're probably not going to get many referrals if your work is subpar. So you need to be making sure that you are working on your filmmaking skills and upping the quality of your content. That is of utmost importance because I don't care how many inquiries you get. If you don't have work that people are going to spend money on, doesn't matter. So what can we learn from the numbers that we have here? One thing is to make sure that you have a solid online presence so you can be contacted easily. You're easily accessible online for people who are interested in wedding videographers or want to see your work or want to shoot you an email to set up a meeting. You have to be readily and easily available online. So I had 3 very easy points of contact. That was my Facebook page, the not.com, and then my website. And I got my website set up on the Google listing. So when you typed in wedding videographers, I'd come up as like a location in Peoria, Illinois, not just in the listing, but I'd show up on maps. I wouldn't put my address in there. I'd just say I do the Peoria area. But then you are now a Google business and you can be found on maps because when you're searching for a mechanic, what's the first thing that comes up? It's the map of mechanics in your area. So you want to be the same thing for wedding videographers. That's gonna be the first thing that pops up is the map of video production companies in that area. And if you're in that list, a lot more people are gonna come to your site. And the second thing is the importance of building relationships and contacts. So like I said, probably half, if not more, of my wedding videography clients came from referrals. Whenever people would say that in the past, I'd be like, oh, it's such a long game to play. It's like you're not really sure how it's gonna happen. I want the instant gratification of seeing numbers to my website website or messagesontheknot.com. Once you get started, once you have a couple things booked and you've worked through them, those referrals are going to start to come in because more people know your name. They know that you exist. That is going to organically happen, and it is, for me, the most important part of my business growth, or the relationships and the contacts, not just people going to my website or seeing my work. So if you look at the numbers here, it looks like my client referral portion is pretty small, but also that tracking isn't totally foolproof because people would say I was referred to by family or friends. Who knows if that was a client or a family member of a client, or I don't know who it is who referred them to me. So there could be some overlap in those subsections. So maybe the family or friend was a photographer that I've worked with. So take those percentages with a grain of salt too, but those are the ones that they specifically said family or friends, or specifically said it was this person that you did a wedding film for, or a specific photographer or videographer. So don't just look at that client number and think like, man, it just seems like former clients aren't really giving Jordan a ton of referrals. Maybe it's something I shouldn't focus on as much, or maybe Jordan's just not doing a good job. But I just think those numbers in those subsections are fluid. But regardless, that referral number is a huge percentage of my business. So of course, casting a wide net of contacts so a lot of people know about you, but more importantly, with the people that you do work with, being someone that people trust and want to recommend, and not just someone that they know who does video work. You want to be recommendable. Former clients won't want to recommend somebody who they didn't like working with. Families of former clients won't want to do that either. Your coworkers, acquaintances, classmates won't want to recommend you if you're untrustworthy, if you're dishonest, if you're lazy, or if you lack character. Now, getting clients should never be your motivation for being a person of high character, but you know what I'm saying. So you want to be referable, you want to be recommendable. And one big thing that does stand out is that photographer, videographer percentage is pretty high. I think it's something that might be underrated as far as getting wedding clients, because this has been huge for me. Because here's the thing. People typically book their photographers before they book videographers. So they're having a conversation with the photographer about their wedding, and at the end of that conversation, many couples ask, do you recommend any videographers? Have you worked with any? Do you know any? That relationship is so important. Like, that is gold if you have a network of positive relationships with photographers or even videographers that might know you, that might refer people to you if they can't do that particular wedding or something like that. But that photographer-videographer relationship is so important. I'm in a business partnership with a photographer right now. Whenever she refers clients to me and I book those clients, she gets a cut, and then vice versa. Now, typically it doesn't happen vice versa because she's the first one booked, but she has sent a lot of business my way so that I could get started. Like, so many of the weddings that I started out doing was because I had that photographer who was sending me videography clients. It was awesome. It was how I kind of grew as quickly as I did. It wasn't by my marketing or my online presence. It was literally just this business working partnership with this photographer that was a large chunk of my growth. And she wasn't the only photographer doing that. I've had lots of other photographers who are recommending Jordan Nelson Productions I see on Facebook and getting tagged by their photographers, or ones that I've worked with. I've been sending people my way. I see that in the little, who referred you box on my website. I just think the relationship is super important. That's probably the biggest tip in this video because it has worked wonders for me. So build those relationships. So on the wedding day, don't pit yourself against the photographer and have this tense relationship where, oh, he or she's in my way and I'm trying to get my thing done and I don't like working with this photographer. It's like, no, you don't want that. You want to have a good working relationship with the photographer. Once again, just because they might refer you to someone later does not mean that should be the motivation and the reason that you are treating them well. But a strong working relationship with the photographers that you're working with could be a great tool in growing your business. So those are some of the big takeaways I got from the numbers of where I get my wedding videography inquiries, having that online presence and being easy to reach, having a wide net of contacts that people know about you, but also building those relationships with people that you're working with or people that you know so that you are recommendable. And last but not least, building quality working relationships with photographers and videographers to get those referrals. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Also, if you have anything that you would want to add, maybe another takeaway that you got from those numbers or anything you'd like clarification on, we'd love to have a dialogue down in the comments below, because I don't want people just benefiting from the video. I want people benefiting from other people who know stuff down in the comments. So please share your information. It'll help all of us grow. And I know a lot of you know a lot more than I do, so please contribute. I'd really appreciate you contributing to this community as a whole. Do value your opinions and your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you all in the next video.